The psychedelic revolution is here. If you want to integrate your visionary experiences into your purpose, get clear on your entrepreneurial path, and help people while you do what you love, then this podcast is for you. Welcome to The Psychedelic Entrepreneur, Medicine for These Times. I'm your host, Beth Weinstein. I'm a spiritual business coach, 3-time entrepreneur, and a lifelong student of psychedelics and sacred plant medicines. You carry your own unique medicine, and your medicine is what we need for these times. This podcast will help you to share your medicine so you can create transformation in the world. Listen in on conversations with psychedelic leaders, changemakers, and conscious entrepreneurs who are living proof that a better world is possible when you follow your heart and live in alignment with your soul. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Medicine for These Times. Today, I want to talk about something that is very alive for so many of us, at least here in America. How do you show up and keep doing business when the world seems to be going up in flames? I mean that literally and figuratively, of course. This subject has actually come up multiple times with my clients over the past year and even longer than that. But as an entrepreneur, as a leader, as someone who is taking a stand for creating a greater change on Earth, you may be feeling the effects of everything happening right now. And, we are witnessing, 40,000 acres burned in LA. And I think these fires are still burning as of time of this broadcast. And then there's lots of tragedy that happened in North Carolina and Florida. And then, of course, earthquakes, Tibet. There's probably much more that I am not addressing. There's something going on everywhere. There's still, wars being fought. This is the reality of our world today. And I get this a lot. Most of my clients are very sensitive people. I know I am. Are you? Are you like uber sensitive? Like a lot of us are. I mean, that's usually who's called to do this work, to be a leader, to be able to make a change and make a difference in the lives of others. You are probably very sensitive and probably take a lot of this really deep into your heart. So then how do you continue to do work and, remove yourself from whatever it is, the media, social media, people's stories? I mean, probably like you, I have friends and acquaintances who have lost their homes, and, it's heartbreaking. And I'm sure most of us listening here in America know someone who's been affected. And all of us have been affected because we are all in this together, no matter who you are and where you are on planet Earth. There is no separation. We're all going through it. And we're probably going to see a lot more of this, for multiple reasons. So the way I see it is like, yeah, we could be glued to the media and feeling depressed and be grieving, which, yes, there's grief. There is a process, and that's always going to be part of it. But the way I really see this is, okay, well, this is just more evidence that people need your help. They need your support as we are going through these great transitions and lots of collective grief here on planet Earth right now, and probably more in the following years to come. I mean, I hope not. I, like many of you, I'm constantly praying for things to get a little easier and better. But this is also, the age that we're in. This is, not a surprise to most people that we're going to have lots of environmental destruction and chaos, and who knows, new viruses, new flus, whatever it is. There's always going to be something. And the reality is, this is also just life. I think we tend to see everything as like, oh, this is just so much worse. But, there's people that argue and say that we're actually in a much better place than we have been in the grand scheme of human history. So, take that or leave it. But at the same time, life will always happen to you. Life will always affect you. Your heart will always feel, no matter what happens, whether it's considered, quote, good or, quote, bad. So this is my process. So I personally have been going through a lot. I am about to embark on potentially one of the hardest weeks of my life, but I'm hoping it's actually really beautiful. And so far it's off to an okay start. So I'm staying positive. But it's this balance of being able to really show up for your greater mission. I have shared this before. If you followed me for a while, I really have this daily conversation with Earth and, just kind of this energy of tapping into the Earth and asking to be used as a vessel. How can I serve? What is my job today? What am I here to do? Put me to work. Because I do believe that if you want to see things change in the world, including things that you feel like are beyond your control, like environmental chaos, I do believe there is a larger consciousness having an effect on what's happening on Earth. There's many discussions of what causes these things, and maybe we'll never know. I don't know if there's one way or there's one theory that's always right. There's many different options to consider. And I'm one of the believers in it's all of it. It's like maybe it is climate change and maybe it is our consciousness and being out of balance for so long as a people in relationship with the earth and this planet. And so one thing that I have been really feeling a lot the last year is this concept of being in balance. Like how have we really gone so far out of balance as a society, and not just here in the Western world, but in general as humans living on our great mother, our great provider, our this beautiful home of ours. And we've seen with the ways of being, with greed and capitalism. And by the way, I actually think there's nothing wrong with capitalism. I just feel like we need to do it differently. There's probably a way to take it down many notches so we become a little more balanced. That's a whole other conversation, but I'm not one to just shun the way things are, because the only way to transmute the way things are is to first, we have to really witness the truth of what is happening. We can't deny that capitalism exists. We just can't walk away from it. I actually have gotten multiple insights into it's like the integration of what's imbalanced, what's wrong. And, I'm a student of A Course in Miracles. They talk about the atonement, this idea of forgiveness. And this is something that I've really been feeling is, yes, getting things back into balance. And also, where's the forgiveness? When people talk about the patriarchy, dismantling the patriarchy, let it all crumble. Yeah, on some level, I'm like, yeah, go for it. But what does that really mean? And where's the grief? Where is the forgiveness and the atonement for the way things have been for thousands of years that are not in service to the greater good of all? So when I see mass destruction and all this collective grief happening, and then lots of finger pointing, there's literally people pointing the finger at political leaders and the president and, the fire chief and whatever it is, and it's like humanity just constantly wants to point to the external. But what about, finding a place inside of like, okay, maybe everybody is to blame because all minds are one. We are all one in this together. So this is how I show up, is using my voice, saying my daily prayer and asking, what is it that people need? How can one be served? And also, what is it I need? This is where the balance comes in. It's as above, so below. If we really want to see things change, we need to start from within. So it does not mean being too much in your grief and too much in the not doing anything because you're so depressed that you can't get anything done for 3 weeks. It's like that's out of balance. And maybe it's not so much in the masculine, the Mars, the doing, the energy of just doing, and like pretending nothing's wrong. It's where do we find the balance and hold both? This is something I've been exploring so deeply the last few years as I've been going through a lot of really deep grief with something big happening in my family. And, it's like, how do you hold the beauty and the reverence of the sadness and the grief, and then also hold this is kind of this idea of like the tantric approach to feeling all of it, to feeling the extremes of sadness and grief and depression and loss, and also feeling the beauty and the forgiveness and the love in your heart and for one another. And also really keeping this awareness that we're all here together on this planet. So if your mission is to be a coach or a healer or a therapist or someone working in the psychedelic space, to hold space for people's transformation and healing and their processes, then this is you doing your part to plant the seed of change. And this is how you can actually contribute, I believe, to something like, wildfires that seem beyond your control. I do believe, we're all doing this together as one heals with psychedelics or processes their grief. Yes, it might be their personal grief, but, it is connected to the collective. So, and then really constantly asking, like, are you in balance with yourself, with your work, with your reciprocity? Where's your aini? If you don't know this Quechua term about, reciprocity, and then also the term yanantin, the harmony of the masculine and feminine, the divine opposite, the polarity. And how is this being woven into you and your approach and your work and who you be in the world and how you show up? And this is what I really see as one simple, energetic remedy that we can all give as we feel very helpless in these larger, losses on Earth, and to really grieve with the Earth, and to also, see there's a flip side to everything. Maybe who's to say what is bad or what is wrong? Maybe this actually is okay and needs to happen for some divine reason that we don't know. That's very hard for anybody to hear right now, of course, but it's kind of like everything has a season. Everything in life goes through a death and a birth. This is just how life is, and we're never going to be able to escape it no matter what. So yes, maybe there is a huge amount of losses and destructions, and who knows, maybe it's for a larger reason that we will not know now, and who knows, maybe we won't even know in our lifetime. But I do believe in this law of polarity. There's always both. And how do we hold this as leaders, as space holders, as people who are, here to serve a greater mission besides their self, but to be in service to other. I've talked about this before: service to self, service to other, service to a larger mission, which is, by the way, on my website. I call it the pyramid of divine abundance, because I do believe the true abundance is at this balance point of serving you, serving other, and serving a greater mission. It's also the balance of the masculine and feminine. This is ancient wisdom. This is not from me, of course, to bring everything into divine harmony. And when something tips to one side, it will have a correction to the other side, even if we don't see it, even if we can't see it, and even if, maybe it's not during this incarnation, who knows? So I just wanted to address this to hopefully inspire you as leaders, as people who are serving in the medicine space, who are helping others, and, to hold both of it. And the way I hold it is like not to spiritually bypass it, also not to just pretend I'm okay, so I'm not going to talk about it, or just pretend because it's not part of my business, but to really be radically transparent with your clients and hold both, hold this energy of, the grief and the sorrow and the sadness, and stepping up into your leadership. Anyways, I hope this was helpful. I know this is very short, but I hope there's some little bit of inspiration here for you. And if you are liking this podcast or liking any of my work, I really would appreciate a review. And to just drop the seed that I'm planting right here. This is being published in mid-January 2025. I have a few offerings coming up this spring that I'm really excited about, including a new one that I am offering with a partner in the psychedelic space. I will know more about that very soon, but be on the lookout. It will be very incredible. This is an incredible person I've known a long time, who's an amazing teacher, who has a wealth of knowledge like no one I've ever met in my life. And we plan to make it very accessible and very fun. So I hope you will join us for that. That is coming, hopefully, maybe I'm looking into possibly doing it in March or April. We will see. And I am offering one-on-one private coaching right now. I also offer one-on-one VIP deep dives, which is kind of just a quick infusion. I also have a wonderful online course that is a much more accessible rate. And soon, as of February, I will be offering one-on-one private transformational neurolinguistic programming sessions at a sliding scale rate before, as I still get my quote practice in, and before I raise that rate in just a few months. So thank you for being here. I appreciate you, and go out there and really serve from your heart. Make a prayer, and, just know that if you come from a place of purity and service and holding both, and really being in your harmony and your balance in the world, then this is planting the seed for all of the collective to come into a greater harmony that is so needed at this time. Thank you so much for being here. Many blessings to you. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you're feeling inspired, I'd appreciate it if you showed your love with a review. And check out my YouTube channel where you can find the video version of this podcast. You can also head to bethaweinstein.com to learn more about me and grab my free business growth trainings. Remember, you carry your own unique medicine, and your medicine is what we need for these times.